wind cannot move a mountain. Only the quakes can crack the foundation. Do we realize that only together we can preserve and persevere with cautionary actions so that the crack does not become the gap that divides this nation? We do not want to fall into a pit of darkness because we have failed to consider the power in who we are. One nation. We are all Americans, and we are responsible for contributing to the pursuit of greatness. America, we are just a hand away. But first we must ponder the question, if we can see ourselves in others, then what defines us if not our culture? Our environmental status influences who we are. Our racial label contributes to how we see ourselves and others. Our perception of what we perceive to be true of ourselves and others have been inherited to us by old America. Old America has created a race ranking system that has compelled us to a false sense of reality, believing we know who people are, preserving prejudice ideologies, and making assumptions of one another in ourselves because we have been programmed to do so. We all have the tendency to take responsibility of success and deny failures, pointing the finger at one another who are merely reflections of ourselves, dwelling in illusions of human ascribed statuses that has created a persona of superiority and inferiority to equals. Because racial category not only carry a strong sense of self-belief, but the stereotypes attached produces a false sense of reality that we have been pressurized to believe in. Secondly, let's not be too proud to show gratitude for how far we've come together, slowly cutting the karmic ties that were passed down to us by old America. Let's be proud that we are cleaning up the mess that was inherited to us, because only together we can. Many of us understand it is not wise to claim greatness when some of us lack the meaning of one nation, not by choice but by default, because we have been misguided. It is possible to have wisdom and not be wise, blocking progression with pride and ego. It is not one's responsibility to teach you what is beyond common sense. You have to want to learn, not what is told to you, but study the facts. It is not one person who is to blame. We all have contributed to American stagnancy, conscious or unconscious, attributing to stigma that is attached to specific racial categories and passing down our biased belief system through generations. How many of us have been rejected because we have been in interracial relationships? How many of us have been rejected because of our racial label? How many of us have made assumptions of others based off their racial label? There's an old saying that goes, the pot can't call the kettle black. And it is time for us to break the generational curse, but it starts with ourselves. And it is passed down, creating a new way of thinking and a new way of doing. Our children are our future, but we are the now. And it is time for us to create a nation we are proud to pledge allegiance to, where liberty and justice is not equivalent to racial category. Unfortunately, we have been taught to assume who people are based off of racial grouping, a tactic taught to us by old America, specifically to create a separation of people and nation. Are we too proud to take notice? Many of us have suffered from classical conditioning and likely have all experienced some form of a racially motivated event that has shattered our sense of security, causing us to generalize people who have in common a similar skin complexion. Circling around change, not realizing we are using racial labels for ethics that are unethical, maintaining a separation of people and nation. We are responsible for our future generations. Let's not be too proud to admit that the word race means type, and the word type means kind, and the word kind means category, and categories are used to separate. And if something is separate, it is not united. We must take notice of our error so what we pledge does not come back void. Thirdly, we must believe and know as true that only united we can.